Good morning and thanks for choosing Fox 10 News on this Saturday morning. Today's April 17th. I am Gianni Navarro. Well, folks, it is raining and it is sometimes pouring. Matt, what do you think? Is the old man snoring?
I mean, we just can't get away from it, can we? It just keeps on raining. Another round here this morning. I do have good news, though, this morning, but not quite yet. We'll get to that in a minute. First off, the first round of rain, most of it's already happened, so you might have slept through it. There's some heavier rain now moving through the panhandle of Florida. That was over in Mobile and Bowen counties just about an hour or two ago. So that's moving out, and we're just seeing some light rain after that. So that is some good news right there. A little closer into Mobile County, you can see some of this rain currently still falling, but once again, this is all pretty light stuff. Some light stuff as well here south of Highway 90 in Baldwin County between 90 and 98. And then we get to the heavier rain now over into the panhandle of Florida. But once again, this is all moving east. So this first round we're just about done with. But wow, I mean, last 48 hours, last 2 days, 4, 5, 6 inches of rain has fallen, particularly along and south of I-10. So we're under a flash flood watch, and we're looking ahead to another round of rain. So when's it going to happen? Well, I think through the middle of the day, we're actually going to get a bit of a break. Yeah, there'll be some scattered showers here and there. Shouldn't be too bad. So that's some good news. We had this early morning round. That's pretty much wrapping up. Then we're going to have a break through the middle of the day. And then here we go again into the evening. Another round of very heavy rain, some thunderstorms. Severe weather chances are very unlikely. We could get some small hail out of a storm or two. That's really the only chance of anything severe. But once again, it's going to be about the rain. Multiple inches of rain are going to be possible as we go into the evening hours. Temperatures around 60 right now. We'll stay in the 60s here through much of the day. You'll see that here on the planner. You'll see that break as well in the rain, and then you see how it ramps back up late in the afternoon. But here's the good news. That will be the last round of rain overnight tonight. Then it's done, and we're getting some beautiful weather as we look ahead to Sunday and next week. You're going to want to stick around for that forecast. I'll have it for you in just a few minutes.
Thank you for that good news, Matt. Well, Mobile spending millions of dollars to try to prevent flooding when it rains. A multi-million-dollar project is underway on Broad Street. This work is going far beyond a simple resurfacing. Workers are replacing the drainage pipes to expand capacity. The idea is to move water out before it builds up and overflows the road. Attempts to improve water flow range from simple maintenance to complete upgrades like the one going on right now that you're seeing. City officials say they've purchased 4 additional vacuum trucks since 2019. That has significantly increased the number of drains that city workers can clean. Last year and in 2019, the city improved dozens of miles of ditches, cleaned more than 10,000 drains, and repaired or replaced thousands of feet more. Some folks we talked to say the city efforts have made a difference.
I know that sometimes it doesn't quite look like it, but there used to be some days where I would not be able to go into work because I have a little sedan, so it would just, and because my driveway is so steep, it would just kind of like plop in, and I would not be able, it would just sort of flood out the bottom of my car. So it's actually made a really big difference what they did.
City officials say they plan funds from the BP oil spill to pay for a comprehensive GPS mapping of every existing piece of stormwater infrastructure that will help planners identify vulnerable areas. And the city of Mobile postponing its community cleanup event in Ballhammer Randall Park today because of the storms. Instead, the city is rescheduling it from May 15th from 8:30 in the morning until 11:30 in the morning. And the city also announcing a delay in trash pickup because of the weather. They say the garbage trucks are currently behind schedule and are working to get caught up with their regular schedules. And the Escambia County Sheriff's Office searching for 2 people wanted for questioning in connection to a shooting that left 5 people hurt. They're looking for these guys. One of them appears to be wearing tactical gear. If you recognize them, call the Escambia County Sheriff's Office right away. Investigators say the shooting happened around 6 o'clock Thursday at Oakwood Terrace. They tell us 4 men got out of a SUV and opened fire. The alleged gunmen then drove off in a gray Ford Escape that was later found abandoned and burned out. The sheriff says he wouldn't describe it as a gang-style shooting, but it did appear organized.
You can tell that when they get out, they go straight toward those people. This is a rather large complex, and there are a number of people milling around, and they stopped right at the P building.
Investigators tell us the victim's injuries do not appear life-threatening, but some are serious. Again, if you know anything about this shooting, call the sheriff's office right away. And survivors are describing the sheer horror they felt during a mass shooting at a FedEx facility in Indianapolis. Police say a 19-year-old former employee killed 8 people Thursday night before taking his own life. As Camila Fernandez reports, 2 women say the shooting spree played out right in front of them.
That's all we need right now. It's a lot of prayers, because FedEx, that's what we are. We're a family, and we need all the prayers we can, because this is something that we're not going to be able to get over.
Angel Warman hasn't been able to sleep since Thursday night when a gunman killed 8 people at a FedEx facility. She says she saw the gunman before he killed himself.
I walked all the way around to the sidewalk, and as I looked, I seen a man standing there with a long black gun like this, just shooting off like 10 to 15 rounds. And I ran back inside and I yelled and I told all my workers to get in the bathroom and to lock the door and to stay in there, and I held the door closed because I didn't know where the shooter was.
Then she spotted one of the victims.
As I'm looking, I see an older gentleman walking, screaming, "Help me, I've been shot." I ran out there, I grabbed him and I brought him inside the shack. And as I'm on the phone with 911, the other workers were in the bathroom trying to control the bleeding of the victim.
The nightmare continued.
There was a deceased body leaning right on my car, right on the front, on the passenger side. When they were loading us onto the bus, I passed my truck and I seen the person leaning on my car. And I don't think I'll ever drive my car again.
Christina Morgan says she prayed to just go home and be with her babies.
He did give me eye contact, which was very scary because when he went in the second time, he was shooting towards me. But instead of getting in my car, he got the car that was blocking me in. All I could hear was him shouting the whole time he was aiming his rifle. And like I can see his whole face, and I don't want to even visualize it. And it's hard to talk about, but you can tell that he had a lot of anger towards someone.
Well, President Biden orders U.S. flags at half-staff in memory of the victims of that mass shooting at the FedEx facility. Flags are being lowered at the White House and all federal buildings, grounds, and military posts. Biden calling it, quote, a mark of respect for the victims of the senseless acts of violence perpetrated on April 15th, 2021 in Indianapolis, end quote. The flags will remain at half-staff until sunset on April 20th. And at least 30 people have been killed in mass shootings in the last month alone in the U.S., including one in Atlanta that killed 8 and another in Boulder, Colorado that killed 10. The White House calling on Congress to pass legislation that reinstates a ban on assault weapons and strengthens background checks. Polls show broad public support for stronger gun laws. A bill has already passed the House, but there is little appetite to pass legislation in the Senate, where lawmakers from rural states say their constituents don't want it, even after recent shootings.
We have to remember, in the rush to judgment on something like this, the left often runs to implement gun control, but we have a people problem.
Immediately upon us becoming in office, having an attorney general, I asked him to put together the things I could do by executive order, including dealing with new guns that can be made, you can buy in pieces and put together.
The White House has already announced some unilateral moves, saying the administration would regulate stabilizing braces that make pistols more like rifles and crack down on ghost guns. The U.S. has more guns per capita than anywhere else in the world. There are 121 firearms for every 100 Americans. Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say more than 200 million doses of COVID-19 vaccine have been administered in the U.S. That's the goal President Joe Biden set for his 100th day in office. 185 million of those doses have been administered since he became president. In the last week, the U.S. has been averaging just over 3 million doses per day. Overall, nearly 39% of the U.S. population has received at least one dose of a vaccine. About 24% are fully vaccinated. We'll have more on the nation's vaccination efforts in our 8:30 half hour. Well, if you're looking to get vaccinated, several vaccine clinics happening in Mobile County that you may want to put on your calendar. Second dose vaccinations happening at the cruise terminal in just a few days on April 20th. A Pfizer first dose happening at Blount High School on the 23rd, starting at 4 in the afternoon. And next Monday, a first dose Moderna clinic happening in Grand Bay at Little Rock AME Zion Church, starting at 9 in the morning. That's on the 26th.